The entire country of Cuba just officially lost power. 11 million people are sitting in complete darkness right now. So basically, the entire electrical grid in Cuba just collapsed, and the Ministry of Energy confirmed a complete disconnection of the national system. Every single city, every single home, every single hospital, 11 million people went dark all at the same time. This is officially the third full island blackout in just 4 months. Cuba hasn't been able to receive an oil shipment in over 3 months, and the country produces about 40% of its own fuel, but that's not enough to keep the grid running. They're saying that the infrastructure has not been properly maintained in years. Experts are saying that the power plants are running on heavy oil that's corroding the equipment from the inside. One professor who's tracked Cuba for decades said that the technicians that are keeping it running right now are magicians, given the condition that it's in. By Monday night, crews had only been able to restore power to about 5% of Havana, which is about 42,000 customers, along with several hospitals. Officials have already been having to warn that even those small circuits could fail again. And there is currently no official timeline for when the power is supposed to come back, so that is an entire country in the dark with no end in sight.
Nosotros tenemos este cargador que cuando viene la corriente lo ponemos a cargar rapidísimo para cargar los celulares de nosotros. Que con los celulares de nosotros es que nosotros podemos por lo menos tener luz en la casa. Es mucho la oscuridad, igual que en los cuartos allá arriba, es oscuro. Cuando apagamos todo es oscuro. Entonces tenemos que nosotros encender para ver con los teléfonos. Esta linternita la tenemos por si acaso. Se gasta muy rápido, pero bueno, por lo menos nos sirve para alumbrar en la noche.
Cuba is in crisis. Blackouts, shortages, and now talks with Donald Trump about its future. The island of 11 million people has suffered 3 major nationwide blackouts in 4 months. At one point, power was restored to just 5% of Havana. Hospitals are delaying surgeries, food is spoiling, and fuel could run out within weeks. But how did it get this bad? Cuba's power grid is aging and crumbling, but the situation has been made worse by U.S. pressure. For months, Washington has blocked oil shipments, cutting off a key lifeline and deepening the energy crisis. Now things are escalating fast. Trump has openly said he could take or free Cuba, calling it a very weakened nation.
Whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it.
Behind the scenes, his administration is reportedly pushing for Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel to step down. At the same time, Cuba is making a major move, offering to open its economy to U.S. companies and Cuban exiles, including large-scale investments. So will the U.S. take over? It seems it's not realistic right now, but the pressure is real. On the ground, many Cubans are exhausted. Millions have already left in recent years, and those who remain are dealing with daily outages, food shortages, and uncertainty. It isn't collapsing overnight, but it is under intense strain and at a turning point.
Right now, Cuba is making headlines for a rapidly escalating crisis that have left millions without electricity, sparking heated debates online, political blame games, and emotional reactions across social media. Videos have been circulating showing large parts of Cuba experiencing major blackouts. Reports and reactions suggest that over 10 million people have been impacted, disrupting businesses, homes, communication, and daily routine. As this clip spread, people online are reacting in different ways, some expressing concern and sympathy, while others are trying to connect the situation to broader political narrative and global tension. At the same time, the discussions are becoming more intense, with users debating possible causes ranging from infrastructure challenge to economic pressure. However, it's important to remember that viral clips often show only fragments of a much larger and more complex reality. Situations like this usually involve multiple factors working together, not just a single cause or event. Still, one thing remains clear. That human impact is significant, and people around the world are paying attention, sharing messages of support, and trying to make sense of what's happening. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for sticking with us. And if you're new here, this is a space for real conversation about real situation. No filter, no voice. Go ahead to hit that like button, turn on notifications so you never miss video like this. This video is for educational purposes and commentary. It is not meant to hate or discriminate against anyone. And also, credit goes to the original creators whose clips are used to make this video possible. Now, let's see more clips.
This is some breaking news. Cuba's power grid has just experienced a complete collapse due to Donald Trump cutting off oil to the country. This means that schools are shutting down, children are going hungry, desalination of water is failing, and foodborne illness is spreading. Trump is causing a humanitarian crisis in Cuba. Spread the word.
Things are happening. I mean, there was the blackout going on last night. Did you see this one, guys?
And breaking news into CNN, Cuba's electrical grid has suffered a complete and total collapse. This is according to the country's power operator. It's the first nationwide blackout since the U.S. effectively shut off the flow of oil to Cuba.
Oh, okay. So blackout last night in Cuba. They aren't getting any oil because their relationships were with, wait for it, Venezuela and Iran. Right? Not exactly who you want to be friends with these days. That was a bad call. Castro. Anyway, it goes back a ways, right? It goes back a ways. So they now are looking at a very different world. And according to my sources, they're trying to get some kind of deal together. They're like, okay, we realize handwriting's on the wall here. We saw what happened to Maduro. We don't want that to happen to us. Maybe we can make some kind of deal. And so that's why you have Richard Haass saying it's not necessarily going to be a takeover per se. It'll probably be some kind of a deal. But call it whatever you want. I mean, I think we sort of went in and took over Venezuela for whatever it's worth. Delcy didn't have a choice. It's like, Delcy, you can go to prison with Maduro, or you can actually try and do the right thing and cooperate with us. So we want cooperation. We want them to come willingly. But Donald Trump's like, they're going to come one way or another. Full stop. Listen to him here in the White House talking about Cuba.
You know, all my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now. They were for a long time. Very violent leaders.
It's almost like he was talking, he talks and he does all these interviews, and I'm just going to say, you know what? I give him a ton of credit for that, a ton of credit, because he's always willing to speak to the press, and that is extraordinarily unusual. All right, we've never had an administration that has spoken to the press the way he has. So occasionally, if he's talking, and maybe, it happens to me, it happens to anyone, right? That maybe the right word doesn't come to you in a particular moment. And so he said, well, I'd have the honor of taking Cuba. And people will read too much into that, and they're going to assume he really means it, like he's taking Cuba. And I'm going to tell you, knowing him, no, he doesn't mean it like that. And you heard the Fox reporter actually say, wait, take, and kind of giving him an out. Like, but Trump he's not going to take that. He's like, yeah, I said it. I'm going to double down on it. So, whether I'm taking or freeing, I guess it's all a matter of how you look at it, right? If you're one of the commies there that's related to the Castros in Cuba, you may just see him as taking it. If you're anybody else that's stuck living in that hellhole thanks to the communist, god-awful regime that has just depressed the economy and ruined the lives of so many people, then that is freedom. That is freedom. But, the media is going to go wild on this. Of course they are. I mean, for goodness sakes, Joy Behar on The View has already started in. Ladies and gentlemen, cue the tape of this nasty woman.
He now is at the point where he has threatened to invade or take over Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, Cuba, the Gaza Strip, and now Cuba.
Yeah, now Cuba.
It reminds me of somebody, I can't remember his name, who said, today Europe, tomorrow the world. Who said that? Let me think.
Okay, you know where she's going. Okay, so that was Adolf Hitler, and she's trying to somehow draw this parallel, which I find nauseating and disgusting and really offensive to history and to the 6 million Jews that were slaughtered and to all of our allies and to all of our soldiers that we lost in World War II. And yet you got idiots like Joy Behar that are going to get up there with her little friends like Sonny and Whoopi and try and pretend like he is Hitler. I mean, enough already, guys. Like, until he kills 6 million people, like, I just don't want to hear it. I really, really don't want to hear it. What he's trying to do is actually, again, oddly, what I articulated in that senior thesis paper of mine in international relations, that you need to have a safe hemisphere, okay? And he knows that he doesn't want these kind of vulnerabilities in our backyard because they are indeed vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, let's not forget, you're sitting on an asset there at Cuba and you can't figure it out, right? Because you're all a bunch of commies, but we could change it. We could help. Everybody might actually have a better standard of living if you introduce a little old capitalism, the other C, right? Not commie, but capitalism into that economy. Marco Rubio knows it well. Listen to him here today speaking in the Oval Office alongside the president, who, by the way, was there with the guy who's head of Ireland. Everybody decked out in their green for a reason.
But the bottom line is their economy doesn't work. It's a non-functional economy. It's an economy that has survived. That revolution, it's not even a revolution, that thing they have has survived on subsidies from the Soviet Union and now from Venezuela. They don't get subsidies anymore, so they're in a lot of trouble. And the people in charge, they don't know how to fix it. So they have to get new people in charge.
Yeah. So we can help them maybe get some new people in charge. And if you have some new people in charge, maybe we can help fix that economy. And, before you know it, we might be wanting to look at a nice little condo on the beach. I'd rather have one there than overseas. I think there was a podcast host who said he was buying real estate in Qatar, right? Good luck with that one.
Now, moments like this tends to bring out strong opinions online, but they also remind us how quickly information can spread and how easily narrative can form around incomplete details. When a situation like Cuba's power crisis goes viral, it's natural for people to react emotionally, to speculate, and sometimes to assign blame. But not everything seen online reflects the full scope of reality. Behind the headline and trending videos are real people, families, workers, students trying to navigate daily life under different conditions. Power outrage on the scale don't just affect lighting, they impact healthcare, communication, transportation, and access to basic services. That's why the conversation online often shifts between awareness, concern, and debate. So as you watch and engage with content like this, it's important to stay mindful of context, verify information where possible, and avoid jumping to conclusion based on solely on viral posts. Healthy discussion is always welcome, but it should be grounded in respect, understanding, and awareness of a bigger picture. If you've been following this situation, what are your thoughts? Do you think social media is helping bring awareness, or is it something distorting the reality? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I would love to hear your perspective. And if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more commentaries on trending global topics. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a future update. See you in my next episode.